You're listening to the Incomparables Total Party Kill podcast, in which a group of friends play Dungeons and Dragons on the internet for your amusement. This is the beginning of a brand new season, Death House with Dungeon Master Dan Morin, and it's episode 105. All children are creepy.
Welcome back to Total Party Kill. I'm not Jason Snell, but don't adjust your podcast. I'm Dan Morin, and I am acting as host and dungeon master of a little adventure we like to call Death House. Why? Nobody knows. It probably has nothing to do with death or houses. But, you know, I'm glad you're here, and we have a fantastic party assembled to go through this adventure. I'm just going to go down, and you guys can tell us a little bit about your characters. Aline Sims is here. Hi, Aline.
Hi. Oh gosh, me first. So I am playing Imra Soliana, a Wold Elf Ranger. And I am not that smart and not that charismatic, so we'll see how far I get in a death house.
Charismatic in a death house, I don't think that's a big problem.
You never know when like a ghost or a murderous clown might need to be charmed.
Oh, no, hopefully there's no clowns in this adventure. I don't know for sure, but we'll discover together as we go along. Brian Hamilton is also here. Hi, Brian.
Hello. I am Bellamin, the Dragonborn Sorcerer. I have lots of charisma. I have not thought through my roleplay yet, and this voice hurts. I'm very excited to be here in the death house that will not kill us.
Fingers crossed. Erica Ensign's also here. Hi, Erica.
Hi. Yeah, I'm also crossing my fingers. I am playing... what's my name again? Oh, yeah. I am playing Broldish, a dwarven paladin who is a worshiper of the goddess Hela Brightaxe and wanted to be a cleric. And all of her people, sadly, were killed. And she was the only one that survived, so she never got to be that cleric. Instead, she's traveling the world. Hela Brightaxe was a very martial sort of goddess. She fought a lot, lots of bloody battles. So my goal in life is just to fight as much as possible and honor my goddess and spread the good word of Hela wherever I go.
If everybody died, you could just tell them you were a cleric. Yeah, I'm totally a cleric. No one's going to check out on your backstory, right?
Yeah, well, actually, and the clerics of Hela Brightaxe were called Blood Maidens, and in order to cast spells, they carved all kinds of scars into their body. My character Broldish never got to get that far in school, so she carved her own. So I look pretty disgusting because there are a lot of very poorly carved scars all over my face and arms and hands.
This is super unfortunate.
Intimidating.
Excellent.
Very memento.
Excellent. Joining us for, I think, only his second Dungeons & Dragons experience ever and his first TP Kill appearance, it's Micah Sargent. Hi, Micah.
Hello. Don't call me Micah. Call me Elevor. I am a half-elf from the Eastern Mountains that I don't even know if there are Eastern Mountains in this game, but too bad there are now. Yes, I'm a half-elf, and I'm not very trusting of my human side. You see, I'm at constant conflict because humans came into our domain and tried to take over, and my younger sister was killed in the raids, and so I don't have much love or trust for humans, and it's a constant point of conflict for me. I'm also a druid, so I love the earth. Peace.
Great. Okay, and our party is rounded out by the Dungeon Master himself, who's not Dungeon Master today, but Master of Dungeons.
I am not prepared to be Dungeon Master.
Surprise! I've been really looking forward to playing another adventure, Scott. You ready to go?
Oh, boy.
All right, Scott McNulty's here. How you doing, Scott?
Hello, I am great. I am playing a tiefling monk by the name of Karakir, who enjoys book learning and punching people in the face.
Excellent. All right, that's
sometimes
great.
At the same time.
A party. Whoa. I think we have a party with nary a human in it. I think you have all chosen other races. So interesting dynamics. Humans are dumb. All right.
Boring. So passé to be a human.
So passé. So as our adventure begins, you have all found yourself walking the roads of the Sword Coast. And you decide to make camp for the night. You happen to meet over the campfire right off the road. You share some stories, and you get to know each other a little bit. and you bunk down for the night. And the woods are quiet, and the air grows chill as it's autumn. Your fire sputters as a low mist gathers around the edges of your camp, growing closer as the night wears on. By morning, the fog hangs thick in the air, turning the trees around you into gray ghosts. Then you notice something very interesting. In fact, I would say the druid and the ranger particularly happen to notice this, because they're very well versed with trees and nature. You notice suspiciously that the trees around you now are not the same trees that were there when you went to sleep last night.
What?
So you're still on a road. It stretches off into both directions into the fog, but you seem to realize that it is not the road that you were on last night. It's a different road. What would you like to do?
Let's go home.
Well, that was quick.
Yeah.
Could be no good.
But
Let's
how?
Yeah, this can't be. This looks ominous. Let's just turn around.
Forsook, what happened here? Why are these trees so different? Are we even in the same spot as we were last night?
I have trouble understanding your horrible accent, sir. Could you repeat yourself?
I think we should examine these trees.
I don't know much about trees.
If you would like to examine the trees, feel free to make a nature check.
All right, I will do just that as soon as you tell me how.
On your character sheet, you can click the nature where it says under skills, where it says nature, and it should make a roll
there it
for
is.
you.
Nature.
There you
Boom.
Whoa.
go. Wow. So that's something is not right about that.
Yeah,
oh, you rolled a 2. Nope, you rolled really poorly. You are almost sure that these are trees. Almost.
What was M's roll? That was, fairly
Imra
decent.
rolled.
Imra, I think, rolled much
With
better.
advantage.
Yes. Yeah.
And so you recognize, you actually find that, strangely enough, you feel like you know all the trees that you are likely to have encountered upon your travels. And these don't look like any of them.
Trees and I are friends, and I'm not friends with these trees. I don't know what's going on, y'all.
These are not cool trees.
All
These
trees
are
look
not
the
cool
same to
trees.
me. I'm treeist.
Trees are only good to make paper out of.
Or fire. Or clubs.
I resent that.
Speaking of fire, it is quite cold out.
Is it cold out?
Is there anything we can...
It's chill. It's chilly. It's a brisk autumnish day.
Could we do a detect magic, perhaps?
Sure. If you would like to roll that, go ahead.
right.
Somebody's got it.
Someone else should, because apparently I can't roll very well.
I don't have such things. Does the ground look different? Is it just the trees that look different? Is the terrain different?
It's hard to tell. You were kind of in a forest, sort of lightly forested off the side of the road, and it certainly looks similar. You would think the grass looks a little drier, maybe a little browner than you remember. In general, the trees seem to be a little more dead than you remember, but you're still in sort of a wooded area. So it looks a little bit different, but similar enough that you could mistake it if you weren't paying close attention.
DM, would a magic check be Arcana?
Arcana would be more for sort of sussing out something about magic. If you were looking to actually determine whether or not there was magic present, you would need to use something like a detect magic spell. You could use Arcana to, sort of determine whether or not, such a thing was possible. It was possible, for example, for you to be transported magically. That is a reasonable thing that you would sort of
magic.
All things are possible with magic.
Ooh, someone has detect magic. Let's do that.
All right, I just rolled, I think.
Well,
All
I
right,
don't
detect
know.
magic. So you have cast the detect magic spell around you. So
That was me casting the spell.
what you do notice from this is that it seems like if there were something magical, it would sort of pop out around you. But there's nothing about this that seems inherently magical in this very area. You seem like you're probably in the woods. It's definitely not the woods you remember, but it's not like the trees all seem like normal trees. The grass seems like normal grass. Like all of this stuff seems pretty much your normal, usual wooded area.
I'm gonna, Dan. I want to go to the road and walk
Absolutely.
down the way I came to see if I remember, if it looks different than the way I remember.
Sure. All right. Is anybody going with you?
Yeah, that was
I would love
my
to
thought
join
as
you.
well.
All right. So as you go down the road, you sort of the mist quickly envelops you, and you find you sort of can't see where you just walked from. But as you walk down it a little while, like sort of intending to retrace your path, you find that you seem to come back to where you started before. So you seem to be back at the site of your campfire there.
I tried going the other direction.
Definitely not the same way as it was last night.
Okay. Is there anybody going with you, Broldish, or are you going on your own?
I will go as well.
Yeah, I'm just going to turn around and see if we come back around the other side or if we can actually walk down the path in this direction.
Actually, you find as you do walk down the path in that direction, the terrain does seem to change. You do notice there are some trees that you haven't seen before, and that the ground starts to look a little bit different. Still heavily wooded, but you seem to be making some sort of progress. You don't end up exactly where you were, at least not in a short time as you walked before.
Well, I probably wouldn't recognize the change in trees, but
you wouldn't
maybe
see.
a change
You
in
walk
ground.
you walk for roughly the same amount of time, and you don't find yourself coming back to where you started.
I'd like to
Alright.
do a perception check and try to figure out what's going on in terms of the layout of the land.
Sure.
All right, I got a... No, that's nature. Come on. I got a 5. That's great.
You have
It's
you
misty.
yeah. There's some mist. There's some trees. You feel like maybe, I guess, if you really wanted to build a house here, it wouldn't be too bad. But you're thinking maybe that's not the best option.
Is that
All right, I
that
think-
14 nature I accidentally rolled? Would that do us any good?
Well, you've already established that the trees are unfamiliar. I don't think there's much more for you to get out of that at present.
You know,
Is
I
that
think we can't go home again. That's clear. So
Correct.
Onwards and upwards, folks. I
Unless
think
we're
we should
supposed to
just
stay here and build the death house. Is that the adventure that we're supposed to role play some construction?
If we could quarry some stone, I would be so in for that.
You can't. You don't have to go home, and you can't stay.
But
here,
you gotta
so.
get the heck out of here.
Well,
okay.
I guess we should we go back and report back to the party that if we go back the way we came, it just ends up in some kind of loop where we start where we left from, or we come back where we started from. That's better. But if we go this way, it seems to continue down.
Yep.
Well, it doesn't seem like we have much choice.
I'm definitely in
we're
favor of
being
going down the new
herded.
route.
I agree.
All right. So you pack up your camp. You set off down the road. It's a pretty dirt-packed road. Goes through the woods. You walk for a while. At one point, you do come to a large set of gates that are sort of rusty and are in stone. They're not like gates in a wall. They're just like gates on the road. So like you sort of approach them, and as you do so, they sort of creak and swing open across the road.
That's normal.
That happens all the time.
So, like, we could walk around the outside of it. It's just a
Could if you
like a
wanted to.
door standing in the middle. Okay. That's very strange.
And they were closed until we started getting closer to them, and they swung open on
Yep.
their own power.
Very inviting.
It is. This place is so friendly.
Alexa, open gate.
True hospitality.
Are you going to pass through the gates? You going to go around the gates? You going to keep? I guess you could live here now. That's your only other option.
Whatever. This is. I'm getting bored with all of this mysteriousness. I just charge ahead through the gates. I'm just walking.
All right, Bruldish
Perfect.
charges through the gates. Everybody following her.
Yes,
I'm following
on
her,
my
yeah.
way in.
All right. Everybody has joined her. The gates swing closed behind you.
Oh no!
But
I
you could
regret
just walk
everything.
around them again. So you walk for another hour or two, and the woods start thinning out a bit. The road turns from dirt to sort of more of a gravel. And because you can't see too far ahead in the mist, it's almost kind of a surprise when you realize you've sort of hit the outskirts of a small town.
Were we
it's
not
a-
expecting a town to be this close?
You probably weren't expecting this town. You certainly, none of you, knew of a town on the road at this point, like within that day's that amount of travel. And it doesn't. It looks slightly off in terms of like what you would expect a town to look like. So, for example, there are these very like tall houses. They're very dark. A lot of there are some shops in the area, but everything seems to be closed, and there's nobody in the streets. Even the tavern which you pass on the way in seems to be bundled up tight, door locked, windows, shades drawn, curtains drawn, etc. So it's very quiet and very...
Too quiet.
Quiet.
Do we
All right. Well,
see,
in that case,
like-
I yell, "Hello! Is anybody here? Hello, the town."
Hello.
Yeah, you hear it. You hear your voice echo back at you, and for a moment, everything else is silent, and then you hear a noise from not far away, a sort of a soft whimpering, and your eyes are drawn to a pair of children standing in the middle of the otherwise lifeless street.
Why is it always creepy children?
Why are you saying creepy children? That's so judgmental.
Well, children by default are creepy
Yeah,
until they're
I'm-
proven otherwise.
I ask you, do these look like creepy children to you?
I ask you, do they look
what
like
they look
creepy
like.
children to us?
What do the children look like?
So there are a pair of children, a tall girl who's probably around 10, and a younger boy who's probably around 7. He's clutching a little threadbare doll, and he's
Is its name Billy?
Just curious.
Just curious.
not that I know. He is sort of the one sobbing quietly, and the sister seems to be sort of trying to comfort him, and mostly just sort of get him to be quiet.
Did you say they were humans?
I was about to ask.
They appear to be human. They have a slightly shoot, I've forgotten the word then.
Pallor.
Pallor?
Pallor, yeah, a little bit pallor to them, like a little
Very-
wan, but otherwise human. I was trying to show you a picture. Does it not pop up when I tried to do that?
I don't see a picture.
Not that I see.
That is unfortunate. That's supposed to work.
Yeah, I still just see the map with us.
All
in
right, you know
black.
what? Here, I know how to do this. Give me
There's a
one moment.
photo of these.
Paint a picture with your words, Dan.
I'll paint a picture with my words. How about now?
Oh, there we go.
They don't
Do
look
those
human
look like
either.
human?
Do those look like creepy children to you? Come on.
Look at
They're
those
blue.
little outfits.
Oh,
They're surprisingly put together.
yeah, their clothes are a little unfamiliar to you. They're very richly embroidered, and they look like they're stylistically they don't look like a type of fashion that you have seen elsewhere.
Every rose has its thorn.
Okay, well, I would go talk to them, but I'm not very nice. So I suggest someone who's a little bit nicer than me.
I will say, hey, children, what's going on?
The
Nice.
girl hushes her brother and then turns to you and says, "There's a monster in our house."
What does it look like? Your house, that is.
She points to a tall brick row house that's clearly seen better days. Its windows are dark. It has a gated portico on the ground floor, and there's a rusty gate that's slightly ajar. The houses on either side appear to be abandoned, with all their windows and doors boarded up. So I do also have a picture of the house, which I will show you.
Children, have you told any of your neighbors?
Oh, that looks like a lovely house, actually.
Would you like to move in?
Yes.
The girl sort of shakes her head and says, "No. Usually it's our parents keep it trapped in the basement, but they're out, and we've never seen it, but we could hear it howling."
You hear it howling in the basement, or you hear it out and running around your house?
I think it's still in the basement. There's a lot of howling. It's far away, but it's scary.
Where have your parents gone, child?
We don't know. They went out and they haven't come back.
When did they go out?
I don't remember. I think it was earlier today. Maybe it was yesterday.
You don't remember when your parents left.
Where's everybody else in this town, kid?
They sort of shrug and say, we don't go out into the town that much. I don't know. It's our parents usually just stay at home with us.
This is very strange, children.
You're telling us there's a monster in our house.
Well, there's some noises in your house. Let's not get ahead of ourselves.
Well, maybe we should go check
Karakir,
it out.
babysitter.
Yeah, I think I think we'll go check it out. It pains me to help human children, but
We could kill them.
but that adorable little doll is pulling on my heartstrings.
It's really selling you there.
Yeah.
All right. Well,
Your definition of adorable is very different from mine.
Yeah, agreed.
So ugly, it's cute.
Okay, what would you like to do?
Let's follow the kids home.
yeah,
well,
take us
the
Go to the
inside,
house
kids.
they pointed
The
at.
house is very close. They sort of resist going back inside. They seem very freaked out by it, and so they're sort of like resisting getting pulled back inside. They're keeping a pretty good distance from the house.
Well, I hate kids. What have your parents told you about this monster that lives in your basement that has escaped while your parents are out?
Well, we don't know if it's escaped. We can hear it howling. It doesn't. We hear it sometimes, but it seems like more now, a lot more constant.
What's the layout of your house? So a monster in the basement, bedrooms and stuff upstairs.
There's a few floors above us.
Party in the back.
There are three floors, and an attic and a basement. I mean, it's a house.
Are you asking or telling, children? Details matter.
Well, we don't go into the basement. We only.
Well, you go upstairs.
Well, sometimes. Why are you asking so many questions?
Will my
Because
9 in
this is
persuasion
weird.
help them get back into the house to show us around?
They do not seem to be that interested in going back in the house. You can sort of convince them to wait there's like a portico, right outside there. That's about as far as they seem willing to go.
Okay.
All right. Well, let's go in. Let's check it out, you guys.
Let's do it.
All right.
All right. So on the map, you guys, if you scroll down to the bottom of this map that you're on, you will see your little tokens, and you are standing on the portico. There's a wrought iron gate with some hinges and filling the archway of the portico. And oil lamps hang from the ceiling by chains, flanking a set of big oaken doors.
Excellent. We don't,
All right. I'll try the door.
The doors are unlocked, and they swing open, and they reveal a foyer, which I will.
A spooky foyer.
A spooky foyer.
Oh, it doesn't look that spooky.
All right. Well,
Your definition of spooky is very different from mine.
I
Into the
find
foyer,
all foyers spooky.
Ooh, is it dimly lit? What's the illumination levels in this?
There are some oil lamps in here, so it seems pretty well lit enough. At least in this room, you notice as you walk in that hanging on the south wall, and we'll say the south wall is this. Thanks for roll 20. South side is this to your right there. You'll see a shield emblazoned with a coat of arms. The coat of arms is a stylized golden windmill on a red field. It's flanked in turn by portraits of sort of these stony-faced aristocrats. And then in front of you are a pair of mahogany-framed double doors that lead into the house proper. There are panes of stained glass in these windows ahead of you.
all right. Looks like some of us are rolling history rolls to see if we know anything about the shield. For me, at least, I got an 18.
18's pretty good. The shield and the coat of arms on there are most notable to you because you have, in fact, never heard of them. And so you rack your brains and you have some historical training and knowledge, and you feel like you probably would recognize a coat of arms, like a well-known family, well-known enough to have a coat of arms. But in this case, it's not ringing any bells.
I will share that with the group and say, yeah, I know my shields. I know my coats of arms. Anything used as a standard in battle is something that should be familiar to me, and this does not look familiar.
I like my coats to have arms, otherwise my arms would be cold.
I open the next door.
Okay, so you open the mahogany doors, and that opens into a
mahogany.
nice, big main hall.
Oh.
Ooh, I like the
Beautiful
curved staircase.
So the main hall runs the width of the house. At one end, you see there is a black marble fireplace, which is right where Elevor is standing. There is a sweeping red marble staircase on the other end, which you can see. Mounted on the wall above the fireplace is a longsword. And there are the wood panels of the walls have these ornately sculpted images sort of inlaid in them, which at first glance seem to be sort of vines and flowers and nymphs and satyrs. The decorative paneling goes up with the staircase up towards the second floor. And there are a handful of doors off it. You can see one to your, west, and a couple to your east. Yep, there you go.
Is there anything about this longsword that says anything to me, as a fighter, or is it just a decorative longsword?
When you look closely at it, you think it was used at some point, though it doesn't seem to have ever gotten like a lot of heavy use. But you do notice there's a little cameo worked into the hilt that has a windmill on it.
Oh, that's nice.
This is a sword of windmill slaying.
All right. Well, what do you think?
against
What do you
windmills.
think, guys? You want to head through one of these doors or head up the staircase? I'm going to
fan
go
of one of
inspect
these
the
doors.
marble, regardless of what anybody wants to do, because that's some fine marble.
I don't think I'm interested right now in going up.
Yeah.
Based on the fact that we think this supposed monster is in the dungeon, or is in the downstairs, the basement.
I give a slightly sad, longing look at the staircase. Marble.
So
All right.
these-
Next
where
door.
are the doors, Dan?
There is a door to the west, just where Imra is standing. There is a couple doors to the east, one in front of Bellaman there, and one to his left. And then there's another couple doors up here that seem to lead off to other rooms.
Let's
Well,
see.
I would think that the door by me probably just leads into a room, since we're so close to the front of the house. So we could just go in there and kind of knock that off of our list and figure out what's going on there.
Good idea.
Sure.
I second that.
All right, Imra, you open in that door?
Sure.
All right, so you open the door, and it reveals a den. It's an oak-paneled room that looks a lot like a hunter's den. So there's a fireplace in that wall again. Above it is a stag's head, and positioned around the outskirts of the room are 3 stuffed wolves.
Oh, they're stuffed.
There are 2 padded chairs draped in animal furs facing the hearth. There's an oak table between them, which has a cask on it, along with 2 carved wooden gobelets, a pipe rack, and a candelabrum. There's a chandelier above a cloth-covered table surrounded by 4 chairs. And against the walls, you notice 2 separate cabinets, one to the east and one to the north.
I would like to inspect the fireplace and rummage through it and see if there's any bits and bobs left over from something maybe being burned.
Sure. Give me a perception roll.
14.
That's pretty good. So you dig through it. It mostly seems to be sort of, charred logs, leftover embers and ashes from some sort of fire. There doesn't seem to be anything in there that jumps out at you as being, something unusual being burned in the fireplace. It looks like mainly it was just a wood fire.
All right.
Well, should we head toward the back of the house?
Yeah.
I mean, unless somebody
I
wants to
hesitate
take
to look
I'm
through the
gonna-
cabinets.
Cabinet.
I'm going to open this cabinet.
Someone had
Alright.
to.
Which cabinet are you opening, Tarek, here?
So this the one that is opposite the fireplace. So that's north, I guess. So the north one.
Yeah, sorry, there is a compass rose, but I don't know where it is. That is north, yes. So you open that, it's unlocked. There's a small box in it containing a deck of playing cards, and then there's a bunch of sort of wine glasses in there.
Well, that's underwhelming. And I close it
I close it.
and leave everything there. I will open the other one.
The other one, you try the handle, it's locked.
Hey, this one's locked.
Well,
I could bash
I
it
don't
open
have
for you
lock
if you want,
picking.
but
Yeah.
do we have someone? Yeah. Instead of before we bash, what is the
Fine.
check for getting into stuff?
It's a straight dexterity check. If you have thieves' tools and are proficient with them, you get some bonuses, but otherwise it is straight up dexterity.
My dexterity is not bad. Let me try. Here we go.
That's actually a save, not a... If you look at where it says dexterity on your abilities,
Oops.
try clicking that. 14. Oh, that's pretty good. So you managed to sort of jimmy at the lock with a couple of. You got your hairpins. I know you got some. You got a beard there. Beard pins. Is that what you have? Beard pins.
Yes, I've got a few clips on my belt there.
There you go. So you fashion one of those, and you manage to jimmy the lock open, and you notice, as consistent with the rest of the den, this seems to be sort of hunting equipment. There is an assortment of crossbows: a heavy crossbow, a light crossbow, a hand crossbow, and 20 bolts for each of those weapons.
Interesting. I'm not sure how I feel about breaking into these people's house. I mean, yes, we're investigating monsters, but I don't hear any monsters in the cabinets.
We were
invited.
We were invited.
You were invited.
At
At the end of this adventure, it turns out you guys are vampires, but you could only come in if you were invited.
That's right. In my
we
culture,
weren't invited to look through their stuff.
if you invite someone into your home, you can look through their stuff. So is there anything...
Remind me not to invite Scott.
Never inviting Scott.
I'm glad we have a paladin in the party.
So the
This
bolts
is why
for
it's the first time I've ever played a paladin.
the bolts for the crossbows, are they... is there anything special about them?
Doesn't appear to be. They're well made. Clearly, they're used. Like they're not just decorative, but they have been they're practical as well. They complement any wolf's den. No, otherwise they seem fairly normal.
Do we know what kind of metal they're made of?
Standard steel.
Okay.
So
not silver.
Wood shaft steel. Yeah, steel heads.
Steel. Love steel.
Well,
right.
I can't touch those anyway because I'm a druid and I don't want to steal things. So maybe we should move on unless
You can
somebody's
touch
stealing
them.
it.
Yeah, let's see if we can find the stairs down.
I touched them all.
Would anybody like to come with me into
Part of your
this door in the upper right of the foyer?
Upper right or upper left?
Upper left, excuse me. I know
yeah.
directions.
Sure. Open the door.
Let's do it.
I open the door.
All right, you open the door, and that one opens into what appears to be a dining room.
Oh, look, there are 2 doors to this dining room.
So, this centerpiece of this wood panel dining room is a carved mahogany table surrounded by 8 high-back chairs with sculpted armrests and cushioned seats. Above the table hangs a crystal chandelier. The table itself is covered with silverware and crystalware, all of which is polished to a dazzling shine. There's a marble fireplace against one wall, above which is a mahogany-framed painting of an alpine vale. Like the main hall, the wood paneling is carved here. In this case, you see elegant images of deer among the trees. There's also red silk drapes covering the windows and a tapestry on the other end of the room, which depicts hunting dogs and horse-mounted aristocrats chasing after a wolf. It's hanging from an iron rod bolted to the wall. So it's pretty ornate, pretty well laid out. There are some windows looking out into the backyard there.
I look behind the tapestry.
There is nothing behind the tapestry except for wall.
There's not a wall.
I'm beginning to
place-
understand that these people really like to hunt wolves.
Seems like a
This
hunting
place
lodge for
creeps
rich
me
weirdos.
Out.
Yeah.
If they wanted to be in the forest, why aren't they in the forest? I don't understand why they would do all of this to a house in the middle of a town.
Well, if you build in a town, you can get public utilities, so you get a water hookup and sewage. It's much easier.
Does a 13 in perception tell me anything about when this dining ware was last used?
It does not. It looks very clean. There's no dust or anything on the table or any of the stuff on it. It seems everything's been sort of immaculately cleaned and well kept up. You have noticed that in both this room and the den, you're getting some light filtering in for the windows, but none of the lamps in here or the fireplace are lit or anything like that.
Strange. And did you say the curtains were drawn on the windows?
There are some red silk drapes here. They're sort of they're drawn, but a couple of them are slightly pulled back. Like half pulled back, so you can see out a little bit.
I'll peek out and look at the backyard.
The backyard is there's not much here. It's fairly just like an open little grassy area. You do notice that you can't see very far in there. It's the whole town seems to be enveloped in that same sort of mist that you saw out on the roads. So you can only see maybe 30 feet or something before it just turns into like thick pea soup fog.
Creepy.
Is this Stephen King?
Well, I am interested in checking out this other door then.
Let's.
All right. So you're going to open this door over here. And that reveals a kitchen.
Oh.
What a tiny, cute kitchen.
It is very tiny. It's cute. It's very tidy. The dishware and cookware and utensils are all neatly placed on the shelves. There's a work table with a cutting board and a rolling pin on top of it. And you see a dome-shaped oven that stands near the east wall. It has a stovepipe connected to a hole in the ceiling. And there's a thin door in the back of the kitchen there, too. And another very small door down by where Elevor is.
Yeah, to a little closet or something. Can I open that, please?
Yeah, in fact, it's you notice pretty quickly as you walk up to it that's not really a closet. It's a dumbwaiter. So there's a very small little door in there, and you also notice that hanging on the wall next to the dumbwaiter is a tiny little brass bell that's attached by a wire that goes off into the wall there.
Should I hit it? Should I hit it? I'm going to hit it.
Well, go ahead.
All right, I hit the bell.
10 points.
It tinkles, sort of.
It tinkles all over you.
Not that kind of game.
Children.
Not that kind of game. But yeah, and you sort of hear that echo, but that's about it.
All right.
Weird.
All right. I will open this other door at the back of the kitchen.
The back door leads to a small pantry.
Oh.
There is a lot of food carefully put away, just sort of your usual stuff you keep in the pantry, flour, sugar, butter, all this sort of stuff laid out. Clearly it's been used at some point, but it seems to be well stored.
By process of elimination, the only door left on this floor is this one.
Would you like to open that one?
Not yet. Let's explore the kitchen first. I'm scared.
Any other questions about the kitchen or any of the other rooms? Or feel free to poke back in and take a look at anything.
Is there anything in the fireplace? Sorry, in the oven of the kitchen, the stove, the oven.
You go up to the oven and you open the door. It seems to be empty.
All right.
I don't know where Brildish went.
I accidentally moved myself off of the map, but I'm back now.
Welcome back.
I came back.
We missed you.
So where's the last door?
The last door is right in front of Bellamin there.
Oh.
It is a single square, which kind of concerns me, and it is the last door we haven't opened on this floor.
I assume it's a staircase going down.
What is really quickly, to the left of me, because I don't see a compass rose, what is that again?
This right at the opposite the staircase?
Yes.
That is a fireplace.
Okay.
With a long sword above it.
Yep.
Okay,
Correct.
cool.
Let's open this last door.
Yep.
Behind door number 3, you find a small closet.
This house doesn't have a basement.
Dun dun dun! It's a
Just
cloak
like
room.
the Alamo.
There are several.
Exactly.
There are several
Looking for
black
my
cloaks.
bicycle.
Several black cloaks hanging from the hooks on the walls, and a top hat on a high shelf.
A top hat. Who's gonna
I
wear
investigate the top hat.
That's right. Adventure achievement unlocked.
It is a very nice, elegant top hat made of silk. It seems to be well brushed and kept in good condition.
We were looking for a top hat, right? Let's go bring the kids in and say, we found the top hat.
Actually, I think we should pop outside and say, hey, how do we get to the basement?
Yeah, because this
I'm
is...
gonna do that.
Do we have to go up to go down? Is that the deal?
That doesn't make any sense.
No.
Well, if there's a staircase in the back or something that's
Could also
behind
be like
a wall or...
Yeah,
Is
like
that
from the
called a
outside.
cellar. Yeah.
All right, so I think we should head back to the front door. And are the kids still hanging out just outside?
Kids are gone.
Oh my!
Those little rats.
It's a trap.
Can we get out to like circle the house from the outside?
I mean, you certainly could. Yeah.
I think I would like to circle the house from the outside and see if there is like an external cellar door somewhere around the house or in the yard.
So you take a short stroll around the house. As you noted from the dining room, the fog is very thick now and has sort of encroached upon the house. In fact, you're having trouble even seeing the rest of the town from the front portico there. And as you circle it, you note, like as you saw before, it seems 3 or 4 stories tall. There are some windows, a couple balconies, one small one on the front, one small one on the back, but you don't see any doors leading to the cellar. In fact, the only way you can see, aside from sort of the balconies and the windows that goes in and out, is the front door.
Well, do you guys want to continue to
Upstairs?
investigate this weird ass house, or
Could I want to do a quick little test if I could.
Yeah.
I'm going to head back into the kitchen.
Okay.
And what I would like to do is activate
Exactly what I was thinking.
Activate the little pulley system or whatever so that the dumb waiter thingy starts to go up.
Okay.
And I want to look down to see if the dumb waiter can go down.
Yeah, so you use a little rope and pulley system, and you hoist up the dumbwaiter. And from what you can tell, when you sort of stick your head in there, there's a 2-foot wide stone shaft, but it seems to end pretty close to the bottom here. Like if you threw like a little, like a pebble or something in, you think it would hit the ground. Basically roughly even with the floor of the house.
All right, shall we go upstairs, friends?
Marble.
All right, so as you walk up, you note, as you saw before, the sort of decorative wood paneling of the hall follows you up the staircase, and that takes you up to the second floor, which is over here. So I'm just going to, pop yourselves over to the right there, and now you're on the second floor. So on the second floor, you find the upper hall. There are unlit oil lamps mounted on the walls of this very elegant hall. Hanging above the mantelpiece at the far end is a wood-framed portrait. You notice 2 familiar figures in that portrait, the children that you saw before. With them are 2 adults who look kind of a little bit on the dour side, as well as in the father's arms, he is cradling a swaddled baby. And you notice something odd about it, but roll perception for me.
Odd baby.
13.
All right.
I got a 10.
19.
Ooh, 19.
Wow.
Okay, so those of you with, sort of Bruldish and there on up, you notice there's something a little odd about the mother's expression when she's looking at the baby. You'd think a mother looking at her baby would be looking very happy and perhaps joyful, but she seems to regard it with a hint of scorn.
The baby's the monster. Scott was right. Kids are creepy.
Yeah, see?
In addition to the portrait, there are standing suits of armor flanking wooden doors in both the east and west walls. Each of them is holding a spear and has a visored helm that is shaped like a wolf's head. The doors themselves are carved also, with what appear to be dancing youths. And the staircase that you came up continues to spiral upwards. You can feel as you stand, like once you reach sort of this landing, you feel sort of like a cold draft coming down the steps from above.
Well, I rolled perception to take a look at the suits of armor. I rolled a 2, so they're suits of armor.
Shiny. Shiny.
Very nice.
I will
Good
also
armor.
check out the armor. Let's see.
I got a 10.
Oh, I got a 15.
The suits of armor, they seem to be sort of plate armor, but the closer you look at them, you realize these probably wouldn't necessarily be suitable for actually using as armor. They seem to be more decorative. They're very inlaid, very ornate. And they probably wouldn't necessarily hold up very well in an actual battle situation.
Do they appear to be empty?
They appear to be. You can lift the little wolf visor.
That's
Nothing
what I
in there.
do.
Nothing
I
in
always
there.
do that.
Yep. Good idea. Should always check.
Always lift
Okay.
a wolf visor.
And
Wolf Weiser is my favorite American beer.
Oh dear. I'm gonna look behind the portrait above the fireplace, see if there's anything behind there.
You
lift it
carefully
up.
lift back the portrait
Yep.
to find a blank wall.
They have a lot of blank walls under these things.
All right, I'm going to open the door towards the top, whatever direction it is.
Towards the top. Okay.
The northwest.
So, you open up this room to reveal what appears to be a sort of a study or library.
With a knife on the table.
With a knife on the table. Red velvet drapes once again covered the windows of this room.
Yummy.
There's an exquisite mahogany desk of a piece with the dining table downstairs. It has a matching high-back chair facing the entrance and the fireplace. Above the fireplace is another framed picture, this one of a windmill perched atop a rocky crag.
There are a lot of fireplaces, a lot of windmills, and a lot of wolves in this place.
They're going for a motif. In the corners of the rooms, there's 2 overstuffed armchairs, and floor-to-ceiling bookshelves line the south wall with a rolling ladder that allows one to sort of more easily reach the high shelves.
I sit in the armchair in the corner.
It's very comfy.
I start looking through the books.
I'm gonna roll a perception check with the hopes. Ooh, look at that, 22. With the hopes of spotting some books that are more used than the rest, if that makes sense. So books that might have been recently read.
You know, you do see one book that jumps out at you, which is sort of a red-bound leather
Literally.
book.
Caught it.
Nice job. Put it back. It's what's odd about it is that unlike a lot of the other ones, it has a blank spine on it. You also feel like something is a little bit off about that.
Should I grab it? Am I gonna go into a secret passageway? What do you think, friends?
Grab it.
Do it.
Yeah, let's see
Okay.
what happens.
I grab it and I pull on it.
So you pull on it, and the bookcase slides aside. What? And as soon as I can actually make this happen,
This is
Oh,
very
no.
dramatic.
It's a slow
I moved the wrong
opening.
thing. Sorry.
Something's gonna happen.
Something's
Wait for
gonna
it.
happen.
Oh.
Whoa! There is a room back there.
What?
So, like the room outside, this room is also packed with bookshelves.
That's where they
But
keep
the
good books.
most obvious thing to you in front of you is a heavy wooden chest against the opposite wall with clawed iron feet. Its lid is only half closed. Now, you're not sure exactly why, but if you had to make a guess, you would guess that it has something to do with the skeleton that is half inside of it.
Yes, that was my perception. I could tell.
You might call it a dead giveaway.
Or I might not.
Good night, everybody.
Not.
I have too much pride to call it that.
I've got a bone to pick with you, Dan.
Oh. Does somebody have a decent medicine check that they might want to examine?
I think he's dead.
Yeah.
That skeleton. And
Oh, I'm never poison. Right?
I'm thinking like a post-mortem.
Well, I'll just do it. We'll see what happens.
Someone do better than. Oh, hello.
19.
Oh.
The druid, well versed in the medical arts, you conclude this guy's dead.
That's all I get. Come on.
Now, all right. So he is a you sort of guess. So you're only seeing half of it because half of the skeleton is still inside the chest, sort of like with the lid down on him. So you've got like the chest downwards. You're guessing based on the sort of the size and the bones, stuff like that. Probably human. He's wearing some like leather armor or like what remains of it. And he you feel like maybe he met an untimely end with something to do with his chest.
Yeah. So, does anyone have any sort of way to maybe disarm traps or check for traps?
Well, I feel like this trap was already sprung, so
Oh, that's true.
So
See,
I
but
don't
no
know.
one wants to open it. Am I gonna have to be the one to do this?
I'll open it.
Okay.
If you want to move aside and let me go in.
All right,
Yes.
Bruldish goes up and
Yep.
opens it. The skeleton sort of tumbles out, and you see what you are pretty sure is the cause of death, which are 3 darts stuck in its armor and rib cage.
They were probably poisoned, I would guess then. Or he was really, really not tough.
You also notice as he sort of tumbles out that clutched in his left hand is a sealed letter.
Oh.
I'll grab the letter.
All right, so it is a little like rolled up, almost like a scroll, and it's got like a little sealing wax on it.
I'll bust it open. I'm curious about this.
All
Might
right.
have something to do with the monster. I'm not being,
I was
not
gonna say,
overly
wait,
prying.
this is a federal offense.
We don't know what the laws are in this weird town.
There is a letter enclosed in, and it is written in a flowing script. The letter reads thusly.
Oh.
My most pathetic servant.
Ooh.
I am not a messiah sent to you by the dark powers of this land. I have not come to lead you on a path to immortality. However many souls you have bled on your hidden altar, however many visitors you have tortured in your dungeon, know that you are not the ones who brought me to this beautiful land. You are but worms writhing in my earth. You say that you are cursed, your fortunes spent. You abandoned love for madness, took solace in the bosom of another woman, and sired a stillborn son. Cursed by darkness? Of that I have no doubt. Save you from your wretchedness? I think not. I much prefer you as you are. Your dread lord and master, Strad von Zarovich.
Does that name mean anything to me?
It does not. Off the top of your head, you feel like it's a pretty imposing name. Sounds.
Well, I got a 0 on my history check, so I have no idea.
Which is not much better.
Yep. Nope. Never heard it before ever in your
Critical
life.
failure.
This guy is unimportant.
Has he ever? No. Yeah. Okay. Well, clearly we're dealing with the Dark Lord here.
He seems kind of nice.
Yeah.
And we are but on a quest to defeat the Dark Lord. Sorry. I'm
And
sorry.
what did they?
He sounds kinda
what,
judgy.
how did they describe the baby, the child?
Baby.
Stillborn.
Stillborn, not stillborn.
No.
Okay.
I'm
Stillborn.
gonna check out the books in these secret bookcases.
I will note also there is more stuff in the chest, which you saw, but you have not examined yet. But the books, you notice as you look over all the books that, unlike outside, which seem to be on a wide variety of subjects, pretty much everything in here is on very specific subjects, which are things like necromantic rituals, fiend summoning, cults, that kind of stuff. You also notice that many of them seem to concern a particular cult called the Priests of Osybus, Osybus.
I have heard of them. Is that a religion or a
roll
history?
religion.
Okay.
All right.
Ooh, pretty good.
I got a 3. Yay.
Brildish,
Better than history.
Brildish, you have never heard of this cult.
Okay.
Karakir, you have never heard of this cult.
What? I'm like 18 out of 20. Kind of sure I may have heard of them.
No, in fact, you have a pretty extensive knowledge of cults. And this one you have never heard of.
That's true. My specialties are cults and fiends. I will take one of the books that is about fiend summoning that I haven't read before.
Great. And if you can, I'm gonna say if you can flip through it for the next little while, and you can study that, and I can tell you a little bit more about it in a bit.
Okay, I'll do that. I will sit down in this chair and read that book.
Thumb through that book.
Yes.
So did
I am
we
a little light reading.
look
Get
in the
everything
chest?
out of the chest. Yeah.
yeah,
Feel
that's
free.
right.
Who would like to look in the chest?
I'm gonna, since I'm I wouldn't leave with the chest still half full of stuff that I hadn't looked
Or
at.
half empty. Okay, the chest. There's a number of other things in this chest, which apparently the guy in the armor didn't get a chance to get to. You find 3 blank books with black leather covers.
Ugh, these books.
3 spell scrolls. The deed to the house.
We own the house now.
Ooh, we own the house.
I don't
Do not
want
pass
to
go,
move into
do not
this
pass.
house.
I was
Get
going to say,
$200.
I ran this campaign once before for some friends, and that was exactly what they said. Oh, we own the house. This is great. The deed to a windmill.
We own a windmill and a house.
I'm more interested in the windmill, frankly. This house is, like, I don't know, like the wolf motif is too much.
And
I'm going to
perhaps
sell wind energy.
Perhaps illuminating both of those, a signed will.
Oh.
Ooh, what does the will say?
What's his last name?
What does the will say?
The will is signed by Gustav and Elizabeth Durst, and it bequeaths the house, the windmill, and all other family property to their children, Rosavalda and Thornbolt Durst, in the event of their parents' death.
Rip it up.
No mention of a younger child there on the will?
No mention of a younger child.
So,
No Fred Durst.
It sounds to me, if I can put 2 and 2 together, or 1 and 1 together, depending. We had a stillborn child that they were sad was a stillborn child, and so they talked to some bad people and brought that child back to life, and there were some consequences of doing that.
Interesting theory. Well, if anybody wants to take any of that stuff from the chest, I'm not going to take any of those things. I'll hang on to this letter.
Sorcerers here? Any?
I'm a sorcerer here, but I don't know what else I could do in terms of like.
Well, no, there were
what-
spells.
There's spell
There were spells
scrolls.
in the chest. So
Oh,
I didn't know
hello.
if you
Yes,
wanted
I missed
those.
that.
Yeah.
There are 3 spell scrolls. I will tell you what they are. They
And
each
I have already
contain
walked away from the chest, so if you steal them, I won't see it. Just saying.
plausible deniability.
What?
Yep.
There are 3 spell scrolls, 1 each: bless, protection from poison, and spiritual weapon. I think in order to use a spell scroll, I think it has to be on your class's spell list.
5th edition. Let us check that.
Also,
list.
what kind of cruelty is that? There's a protect from poison scroll inside the chest for a person who died by poison darts. That's just not nice.
The cause of death was actually irony. It's the third leading killer. I will look that up and check on it for you guys. Let's see here, scrolls.
I'm checking that as well.
But I think I looked this up at some point. I think you have to have any creature that can understand a written language can read the arcane script on a scroll and attempt to activate it. I think spell scrolls are actually a different thing. We will continue. I will clarify this, but feel free to continue investigating any of the other parts of these rooms.
Well,
I
has,
would like to move
Scott-
on to the next room.
has
Yeah, I'm
Scott
ready.
learned anything yet?
Scott, how long you been reading, you think?
Several hours, no doubt.
Oh, no doubt, no doubt. Okay.
I doubt very strongly.
You know what? Give me an Arcana check.
Okay. 12.
You know what? You just made it. As you look over this, you're reading this, and again, you have some familiarity with perhaps some elements of necromantic rituals. I don't know. Maybe you're well read. You know about cults.
I am.
All that stuff.
I do.
You sort of, as you read and you're going, your brow furrows more and more until you get to a point where you realize this is utter crap. It's not even real. Like all the stuff, all the rituals in here, they wouldn't work.
Bah, I throw the book across the room.
It clatters into some other books, knocks
This is
over
a
some
waste
stuff.
of time. Let's go.
Hey, enough of the vandalism in there.
Could I do another perception check on another part of the bookshelf to look for more trapdoors?
Sure. Give it a roll.
I was told there'd be a basement. I told there'd be
Oh,
fiendish.
great. 5. No.
You find nothing.
You know what? Just for the sake of playing it safe, I'm also going to go in there and do one real quick. Suddenly my voice is an old man. 12 is not great, but
12 is not great. You don't find anything else on the bookshelf that you find that would seem to be any sort of trigger or, way of opening any other secret room. You do notice, as you sort of glanced over them before, that unlike the cultish books, there's a ton of stuff on here that's about a variety of subjects, from the history of warfare to alchemy. There's including a bunch of works of poetry and fiction, including some first editions. So it's a pretty extensive library, and it seems to be fairly well kept up.
all right. Cool.
I wanna
Any
check out this
cookbooks?
room.
Yep.
Check out this room. Let's
Oh
go.
yeah,
ready to-
there's a cookbook. Yeah.
Oh, just
Rangers
serve
get
mankind.
Nancy.
Sure.
I just like
Too
family
long in one
recipes. I
place.
collect them. Let's do this.
Okay, so you guys are heading down to that next room there?
Yeah.
Alrighty, so you open the door to the south, and you find a very large room. So in this room, it appears to be a conservatory. There are gossamer drapes covering the windows of this elegantly appointed hall, which has a brass-plated chandelier hanging from the ceiling. Upholstered chairs line the walls, and stained glass wall hangings depict beautiful men, women, and children singing and playing instruments. In the northwest corner, there's a harpsichord with a bench. Near the fireplace is a large standing harp. And on the mantelpiece is a series of alabaster figurines of well-dressed dancers.
I have a flute if anyone wants to, we could do a little concert really fast.
Little jam.
Not particularly musical, but I wouldn't mind some music. I don't play.
Oh, let's hear it. Let's hear it.
What is that awful sound?
Hey, apparently the GM can play music in the background. That's kind of cool.
I'm rolling perception on the harpsichord, looking for anything weird about it. That's a 12.
It's a harpsichord.
Is it in tune?
I did make a playlist at one point, but it seemed like it might be gilding the lily. The harpsichord is functional. It's perhaps a little bit out of tune, but it seems to work. It
I
seems
play
to
heart
be
and soul.
That takes 2 people.
And a giant piano.
Yeah, which are you playing, heart or soul?
And you must stomp on it with your feet.
Yes. Da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Let's see if I get.
All right.
Da,
Well-
da, da, da. Okay, I'll stop.
You're a druid, not a musician.
Oh.
I think it's time to just move on up, unless
Yep.
there's something else to
Up.
investigate in here.
I gotta check
Anyone do
out the
perception
fireplace.
in here? Yeah, we did. 2 12s.
On the harpsichord specifically.
Scott, you're over by the mantelpiece, and
Yep, that's what I'm checking out.
When you look at those alabaster figures carved in there, you notice something kind of weird. Some of those alabaster figures are not, in fact, dancers, but are rather well-dressed skeletons.
Well-dressed skeleton. So what makes a well-dressed
coming.
skeleton well-dressed?
I mean, the skeleton you saw before was only dressed in leather armor. These are
That's
wearing
true.
like elaborate, nice clothes,
Oh,
but they
like
have
a little
grinning
top hat.
skull faces.
That's weird.
That is weird.
Everyone's crazy about
No,
a sharp dressed skeleton.
Are these statues like? Can I pick them up? Are they individual
Yeah,
little
they're like
statues? Or
they're like little porcelain figurines, probably. You know,
I take
got
out
eight.
I take out my porcelain doll's head and make it look at the porcelain figurine.
the eyes
have
seem
them
to
talk.
follow it. Yeah.
Oh dear.
Okay.
Since these are stone, I have rolled a 15 on my history check
Ooh.
for stonework, just to see if there's anything that the workmanship on these little things can tell me.
It's very, very good workmanship. You would expect this to be the result of a master carver. It doesn't seem to, like, you look all over thinking there might be like a stamp or an insignia or something like that. You don't find one, and you think that's a little odd. But yeah, other than that, you don't recognize the style or anything, so you don't really have any ideas about the provenance.
Okay.
I turn to her and say, "How much do you think these are worth?"
And how much do I think they're worth?
They're either priceless or valueless. Take your pick.
There you go.
I choose priceless.
And you choose to put them in your pocket.
I choose valueless.
No, put them back. Put them back.
Fine.
Should move along.
Paladins.
I'm going upstairs. I'm going upstairs.
I will note there is one more door just in case it wasn't clear, because I know there's one right at the top of the stairs.
Yeah, go in there.
Let's do that.
Thought that was a tic tac.
It's a very large tic tac. All right, you open up this room, and it appears to be